Latin America doesn't give a shit about the passport like, let's say, Europe would do. So you use your Plan A passport to travel to Europe, and you use your, let's say, a passport to travel to Latin Americas, obtain those residencies, cover it properly, create a good, credible, layered portfolio item. So if you have a little bit of money, it makes absolutely no sense to struggle in a new country, spending your valuable time trying to naturalize, right? It may take up to 2 years or 5 years. That is just the wait period, let alone the time it takes to set up in that country. Then you wait for this 2 to 5 years, in some cases 6 years, 7 years of wait, and then you apply for nationality, and then you go through the whole hassle of the same paperwork that you did for obtaining the residency. In my opinion, this is good if you don't have any money, but if you have some money, you can get instant citizenship in 2025. I'm going to discuss 15 countries which offer citizenships for purchase. It's a legal way to purchase the passport outright. There have been some sensational updates in 2025, some new programs that have cropped up. And the thing with money is, if you look back in history, you had options like a $25,000 citizenship in Peru in the 1990s. You had a $45,000 citizenship in Comoros. And those programs are gone, right? So that money at that point in time, people thought, should I go for it? Should I not go for it? And the moment you keep thinking and you lose out on those opportunities, the opportunity is over. And you don't want to miss out on any opportunities, similar opportunities that exist in 2025. So I'm going to go through the entire list. And I would say more than ever before, it's critical to obtain a dual citizenship for anyone and everyone. So you might need it right now, you might not need it right now, but there's a good chance that you will need a secondary ID, a second passport in future, not to do wrong things, right? Shady people will do wrong things, they'll misuse that second passport. But in your situation, you're going to use this for diversification, safety, doing legal stuff, protecting yourself, protecting your family, having a plan B home. That's the whole objective. And none of these things that I'm saying is immigration or legal advice. This is my personal opinion and assessment. The first one on the list is the latest entrant. It's one of the interesting options that is launched in 2025. It's the Nauru citizenship. It's a Nauru passport. Here, the highlight of this passport is that it has a visa free to UK. It has visa free to Ireland. So if you're specifically looking to target a residency in any of these two countries, then this passport is interesting. What I don't like about this passport or this citizenship is the price. It's very steep. It's 140K, and you can outright purchase this passport. All the figures that I'm going to mention are USD, right? 140K US dollars. The other thing that I don't like about this passport is the due diligence is way too crazy. It's a lot of stuff that they ask you on that form, ask you financial information all around the world. I particularly am a big fan of programs that don't investigate you. They don't charge you to investigate you. You don't want to deal with all that bullshit. There's nothing wrong in going through an comprehensive, extensive due diligence. It's just a lot of hassle. It takes more time, and you get the citizenship, but it just isn't a pleasant experience. When you're paying someone for a citizenship, when you're paying these high amounts, you want the citizenship fast. You don't want it to be delayed. And therefore, I feel the fastest passports are some of the best deals out there. I'm going to discuss one passport which is lightning fast. I'm also going to discuss my favorite pick from this entire list and why it really makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to discuss options in every continent. There is a citizenship program in the Middle East. There is a citizenship by investment program in Latin America. There's one in Europe. There's one in the non-EU Europe. And there's 3 in the Middle East. There's one in Asia. So I'm going to cover all the continents. There's even one in Africa. Next on the list is next to Nauru, which is Vanuatu. And Vanuatu is the fastest. This is the lightning fast citizenship. There are 3 advantages, in fact. So it's fast, it's cheap, and the due diligence is the easiest due diligence in the world. So they don't really harass you with a lot of documentation. They ask you a bare minimum documentation. So the experience is very welcoming. You give them limited set of information. You get the nationality. You get it super fast. You get it super cheap. This option is good for someone who has a strong passport. So let's say you have EU access, you have UK access, you have all the meaningful access that you need on one of your passports, preferably your home country Plan A passport. You're not looking to renounce this strong, solid passport, or even if you are renouncing in future, you can get the Vanuatu citizenship. You're going to have an identity, a legal alternate identity. You can stack residencies on top of this nationality, so you can do the layering. That way you have a great prototype in the background. You have this safety net. You have a beautiful, well structured, well thought of Plan B with flexible residencies covering this Vanuatu passport, and your home country nationality is preserved. This also happens to be my favorite pick for citizenship. That's the reason why we work with the direct processor for the government. Any point in time, any of the options, residency options or CIP options. If you are interested in learning more and getting started, you can always click the link, book a call. We can discuss and get you started with the option of your choice. Now let's discuss the pricing for Vanuatu. The pricing is pretty interesting, right? So there is a 50K redeemable component. So you get the investment of $50,000 back, and you get this back after 4 to 5 years, right? There's also an interest component on this 50K. Depending upon the fund that you choose, there are multiple funds. You can get anywhere from 2% to 10% interest back. That's a wide range. So let's say you put $50,000 in investment, and let's say the interest makes it 65, 70, 75. So you're getting a good amount of money back from the government. The second fee component over here is the actual fees or the donation to the government. 5,000 in processing fees, 100K in donation. So the total value of the CBI upfront is going to be 155. That's what you're going to pay, and then in the next 4 years you're going to hopefully recoup your investments, the 50K and the interest. And you can include 4 family members on this application. Typically it's going to be husband, wife and the children, but you can swap them for parents. The number is 4, and that way effectively there is a good chance that you can obtain one passport for less than $20,000, or let's say up to $20,000. You can strike this option. Now let's move to the Middle East or African region. There are 3 in the Middle East, and the first one is Jordan. This is good if you want to settle in Jordan. This is not good passport. This is not a strong passport for people who want to establish, move their monies, set up a home and enjoy what Jordan has to offer. Jordan is one of my favorite countries for Plan B in the Middle East. So you're paying for Plan B access. You're going to be secure. You're going to be safe in Jordan. There's not a whole lot of crazy stuff going on there. The passport is going to cost you $1 million of investment. You park this capital in Jordan and you can get this citizenship. The second is a Middle Eastern African country. It's Egypt. The citizenship here is 300K. You can donate 250K, but that's irrelevant. Why are you going to donate 250K when you can simply purchase a property for 300K and get Egypt? So the deal is pretty simple. You put this money in a property and it's your property. It could be 1 or 2 properties. And then once the amount hits 300K, you can apply for the nationality, get the Egyptian passport. This is again not a good passport for travel. The third option on this list in the Middle East is Turkey. And Turkey is, in my opinion, one of my least favorite programs. They have changed the bank deposit options. There used to be 2 options. One was the property investment. It started off with 250K in property, and then you could get the nationality. They bumped that up to 400K in property, then you get the nationality. The second option is you park 500K, which is $500,000 in a bank account, and then you get the nationality. There were some protections, currency fluctuation protections for the bank deposit options. It used to make some sense, but now they have removed it. So the risk is in Turkish lira. If there's a major fluctuation, then you can lose out on a ton of money. So for that reason, the bank deposit option does not make a lot of sense these days. Regarding the property option, I don't like the citizenship program because the property investment is not linked to the citizenship. Normally what happens is, or a wealth structured CBI program or a safe CBI program for the investor links the property purchase to the citizenship, meaning you apply for citizenship, you get a soft approval, then you purchase the property, like in the case of Egypt. And then once you purchase the property, they know you're purchasing this for citizenship. That's the objective. And then you get the final approval and the passport. With Turkey, it's the other way around, which is scary because you're investing in property. There's no question of any citizenship at this point. Once you have the qualifying investment, then you apply for citizenship. Then they will make a decision. Sometimes they can point blank deny your application for whatever reason they deem necessary. So that is why, because this investment is not related or linked to that citizenship process, I do not recommend this in 2025. It's still an option nonetheless. So anyways, if you're looking to purchase a property in Turkey, then this might make sense. The next one is in Africa, pure Africa, and this is Sierra Leone. They just launched a program in 2025. The biggest highlight of this program is the access to ECOWAS, right? 15 African countries where you have good mobility. You can obtain residency permits fairly easily. The program costs 140K. Do I like this program? Do I think there's potential? No, I don't like this program at all. 140K is way too expensive. The right price for this program would have been 75K max. A lot of people would have thought about this program and probably gone for it at 75K, but at 140K, this option does not make sense. The next option on the list is in Asia. Asia is very stingy when it comes to awarding citizenships. Most of the Asian countries don't allow dual citizenship. If their own birthright citizens obtain a foreign citizenship, they typically lose their citizenship. So Asia is not a place known for dual citizenship, but there is a country that allows dual citizenship and offers it by investment, is the country of Cambodia. And in Cambodia, the deal is pretty straightforward. It's not a marketed option. It's not heavily marketed. Under the scenes, they do sell this to Chinese investors. There's also Laos, which is more expensive. It's up to $1 million. There is exceptional or citizenship by investment option in Laos as well. Not a whole lot of buzz because this is under the radar kind of an option. But let's talk about Cambodia because that's more of a practical solution to a lot of people. So 300K in property investment can get you the Cambodian citizenship. This has to be government approved property, and 250 is kind of the range that you put in the property, and then rest are all the fees. If you stack everything together, you're approximately looking at 300K and you can get a Cambodian passport. This is not for travel purposes. This is purely for plan B diversification purposes. So like in the Middle East, you were going to Jordan. Here you're going to Cambodia. So you're getting a foothold in Asia. You can purchase property, you can purchase land, you can do pretty much whatever a citizen would normally do in Cambodia. Next one on the list is in Europe, and this is the most premium citizenship by investment available. It's Malta. The best thing about this is access to US and all the top countries. So you have all the bells and whistles as far as the visa free is concerned, complete freedom of movement and mobility in the Schengen area. So not only you can go visa free, but you can also set up and live wherever you want. So those are some of the biggest highlights of the Malta passport. The drawback, of course, is the price. It's $1.5 million. A lot of this is different forms of investments. So some of it goes to purchasing your property or renting the property. A large component of this will go in donation. How much donation you pay to them will determine the speed at which you get the passport. So let's say you pump it up to 750K, you're getting it much faster. In a year, you're looking at this citizenship. If you're putting 650, then you're slowing that down to 2 years or slightly more. So that's the time frame that you're working with. So the total is 1.5 million. Is it worth it? Absolutely. It is worth it if you have a lot of money. If your net worth is high, then the Malta passport makes a lot of sense if you don't have an existing strong passport in your portfolio. And a lot of clients initially sign up for this, but then they back out. Is you got to keep your investment in place even after you get the citizenship for a certain amount of time. So you're not only pumping a lot of money, but you're keeping the investment component for a much longer time, even after you get the citizenship. The next on the list is the Caribbean CBIs, and there are 5 programs. That's St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, and Dominica. They all range, they start off from 200K and go up to 250K, and there's some other minor fees, but that's really the range, the ballpark you're looking at. All these passports provide almost identical access. They don't have all the premier access like Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada, none of that. They do have UK, Ireland, and Schengen. So that's obviously the value of these passports. From a reputational perspective, I personally am not a big fan of the Caribbean citizenships. The biggest drawback of this citizenship and why I personally would not recommend this in 2025 is the due diligence. The due diligence is extremely poor from an investor perspective, meaning they take a lot of time, right? Up to a year in most cases, or some cases, I should say. In my opinion, they have made the process excruciatingly painful. They follow all the instructions from some of the Western countries. They've given them some principles. They have signed some MOUs. They're going to exchange information. They're going to record you. They're going to videotape you. So you're paying money to go through this whole experience. And there have been a lot of allegations of people not receiving their money back after the citizenship has not been granted to them. So I'll be very careful with any of the Caribbean options. Are they bad options? Not all are bad, but they're very limited circumstances where you might think of a Caribbean. A lot of these programs have seen a decline in applications, up to 80% decline. So I think this is the death of these programs, right? Unless they, and the biggest harm that they have faced is the reputational issue, right? The credibility issue with the investors. So if investors are the ones who are going to fund you and you're going to listen to the other people and you're going to put down the investors, then the program is going to face a very difficult life ahead. So that's where these Caribbean citizenships are at. I do not recommend them in 2025. Now in Latin America, there is a citizenship by investment program. A lot of people ask, is there a CBI program in Latin America? Of course there is, and it is by our innovative leader, Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador. There is a citizenship. It's a $1 million investment. You can pay through crypto, and it's a fast citizenship. In a couple of months, you could be a El Salvador citizen. Who is this good for? Anyone neck deep in crypto, this is a good option. You can utilize the country, their services, their facilities to move your crypto, keep your crypto, trade your crypto. Anything crypto is all El Salvador. So it's an interesting option. Is it worth it? In my opinion, not really. It's an overkill. I think 400K would have been a better price for El Salvador for it to be a serious contender in the CBI market. But at 1 million, I think very few people would be purchasing this passport. I'm going to discuss something interesting in the non-EU European region is the country of Serbia. Now, they do not have a citizenship by investment program, meaning there's no price tag. You cannot purchase this passport outright. But there's an interesting concept called citizenship by exception. Again, the value that you pump into the country can decide that. That's an important deciding factor. But if you have the right skill set, if you're trying to do the right activity in Serbia, and if your value that you're adding to the economy is good, you're pumping in good amount of money in a business, then of course you can use that setup to apply for the normal residency, which is much simpler. You hopefully should get that very easily. But then you can also utilize or bump it up one level up and show a lot of benefit to the country, and then you can file for citizenship by exception. We do work with a specialized attorney who focuses on citizenship by exception. This is not for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. This is for specific people who know what they're doing. They have the money, they have the interest, they have the focus, they have the skill set, so they can look at this program, see if they qualify, and then they can try this. The worst case situation is, of course, you're going to not lose anything because it's your own business, and because you're going to anyways have that residency in the country, it's going to be a safe proposition. So this is the list of all the programs that are available in 2025. My key focus here is not to struggle. Purchase a passport if you can afford it. Tomorrow this option might be gone. My personal favorite out of all these citizenships today in 2025 is the Vanuatu citizenship. Cheap, fast, easy, an interesting option. I know it doesn't have a whole lot of access, but it does have Latin America. The Latin America offers a lot of residencies which are flexible. You can enter the country, then obtain the residency. So all of those residencies really gel well with a Vanuatu passport. Latin America doesn't give a shit about the Vanuatu passport like, let's say, a Europe would do. So you use your Plan A passport to travel to Europe, and you use your, let's say, a Vanuatu passport to travel to Latin Americas, obtain those residencies, cover it properly, create a good, credible, layered portfolio item, and I think you should be all set. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which is your favorite CBI citizenship, and if you were to start a CBI in 2025, which one would it be? And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe before you go so you don't miss out on any of the latest important updates. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and catch you in the next one.